Hi, welcome back to another episode here at the Weber home. Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade yogurt. So first things first, I got my crock pot here and I just have a gallon of store-bought milk. This is just whole milk. And you can see I used almost the entire gallon. For the amount of yogurt I'm gonna make, it won't take the entire gallon. So let me show you. So I turn the camera around so I can show you. You need to have a little bit of room at the top there because you are going to put some starter in and you need to whisk this. So you need to make sure that you do have enough room. It is 320. I just put it in. I'm going to turn it on high and we are going to let this go for a couple hours until it reaches 185 degrees. You want to be careful and make sure you watch it. Stir it occasionally. You want it to get 185 degrees. It kills a specific bacteria. I don't remember the fancy name of it. But you don't want it to get past 190 degrees. So you have a 5-degree window there. If it gets past 190 degrees, it can turn lumpy. It won't work. Ask me how I know. So you want to just wait, check on it often, and wait till it just barely gets to that 185 spot. And then I will come back when it gets there and show you how we're gonna do it. In the meantime, while that is heating up, I want to show you, I have a gallon jar here. You can see how much is left. This took us a week and a half, 2 weeks. We go through a gallon. That's why I learned how to make it, because yogurt is so expensive. This is not super thick yogurt, like Greek yogurt would be. They say as you continue to make your own yogurt, your starter gets stronger and it will get thicker. But I am still fairly new to this. I've only been doing this a couple months. My starter's not very old. And so it's a thinner yogurt, more like a Yoplait, just regular yogurt. But I had this gallon filled all the way up to the very top. My family devours it. And most people, when they make homemade yogurt, they will make just plain unsweetened yogurt. I actually do sweeten mine, so my process is slightly different than any other videos that you'll probably find, because most of the ones that I had seen when I first learned were just plain unsweetened. I had to figure out this process myself, but it works for me, and I'm going to show you how to do it as well. So this is just like a plain vanilla yogurt. What I use to sweeten this is some raw cane sugar. I put vanilla extract in it, a little bit of almond, and then some molasses, because we are all super low on iron in this house, so I sneak molasses into anything I can. And so once my jar gets probably about down to here, I know it's about time to make some more yogurt, because you want to save this last little bit and reuse it as a starter every time. So okay, so also before I move on to the next part, while I'm thinking of it, I want to show you, I have this thermometer. It's actually a meat thermometer, so it tells you how far to go in and you can use it. This was the one that I was using and it worked just fine. It's just a little bit slower. My husband got me this digital one where you just open it and it instantly reads. So I'm probably going to be using this one today. This is the one I have been using for the last few months and it's done just fine. But you definitely need a good, reliable thermometer for this to work. So the gist of this, I'll show you the process, but the gist of this is that you want to heat it to 185 degrees so it kills the bacteria. Then you want to let it cool off. And then once it gets to 110 degrees, that's when you add in your starter. But in the meantime, in between that cooling off phase is usually when I doctor mine up. And so I'll show you once I get back and it's at the correct temperature. I'll come back and show you how to do that. Okay, so I had to move it to the other end of the counter because I was working on dinner and it was in my way. So last time I checked it, it was at like 173 degrees. I ate dinner very quickly and now we're gonna see what it's at now. It is at 185, 0.7. So that is perfect. We're gonna turn it off, take it off the heat. I'm gonna get my oven mitts and very carefully take it out so that it cools down faster. And then we'll add our stuff from there. So this is why I said you want to stir it every once in a while. Towards the end, once it gets hot, it will get this film on it if you don't stir it. I haven't stirred mine for a while, so I'm actually just going to remove all of this so it doesn't leave a funky texture. Okay, so I removed the film from the top. And then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my sugar. I have this raw cane sugar here with my 1/4 cup measuring cup inside it that I just usually leave in there. And we are going to add about 1.5 cups of sugar. It sounds like a lot, but it's for an entire gallon, so keep that in mind. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Last time I made it, I did 1 3/4 cups, and it was too much sugar. So I'm doing 1.5 this time, which is what I did before that I liked. And whisk it in, super good. And then I don't really measure the others. I just kind of do a little bit of a dump. Here's a little bitty splash of almond, and a little generous splash of vanilla, and then my molasses. Just like that. Whisk it in super well, and we're gonna let this cool down to 110 degrees. Okay, this feels like it might be about there. Very close. We are at 113.4. Okay, so if I give this a really good whisk for a minute, it should be enough to cool it down. Sorry, I'm itchy. We were just outside and there were lots of skeeters. So if you want this to cool down faster, just whisk it more. You'll help cool it off. But it shouldn't take very long. I don't remember what time I turned it off, but it's now 8:30. I started this whole process at 3:20. So usually if I started about 3:30, I have plenty of time to finish it before I go to bed and let it rest overnight. Okay, so it's at 113 degrees, but I think I'm gonna go for it. Because it feels, to my fingers, it feels right. That thermometer, since that's my first time using that one, might be a little bit different. Maybe I should get my other one. But to me, it feels right, and I'm gonna go for it. So remember, we have our gallon jar of our yogurt starter. I'm just gonna lean it over here, and we're gonna take some of this, and we're gonna ladle in. I was gonna say spoon in, but it's a ladle. Couple, probably about 4, 5 ladles. Let's do 4. Put a ladle here with the lid on nice and tight, and you are going to shake this until it is entirely incorporated. And then, oh, I did it really tight. Take this lid off. So now this culture has cooled off because this was cold. I had pulled it straight out of the fridge. So when I add this in here, it'll definitely be the correct temperature. I'm actually gonna take this ladle out. I should actually take the temperature. Now I'm curious. I wonder if I can reach in there. Okay. I literally am being eaten alive by skeeters. This is at 112. So this went down a little bit more. And then let's try. This is at, I want to get my hand all nasty. 68.5. 68.4. Okay. Plenty of coolness. It'll work just fine. Typically you want your culture to be between 100 and 110 degrees, just so it can, basically you're growing bacteria, you're fermenting the milk. And so it needs to be at a temperature that's conducive for that. Sorry, it's kind of hard to talk and do this at once. I'm focused. I don't want to spill it out the top. All right, I think that's probably, yep. That's about all I got, besides the little bit at the top that's stuck to the sides that probably just needs to be washed down the drain. All right, so you're gonna whisk this super good, and I mean like 5 minutes. Whisk it, whisk it, whisk it. Then what we're gonna do, put the lid on, we're gonna wrap it in a towel, stuff it in the oven with the oven light on, and leave it for at least 12 hours. And I will come back and show you in the morning what this looks like. So my toddler's in here really loud. The easiest way to wrap this in a towel is lower your oven rack, lay the towel down, put your crock pot in, and then wrap it up. Don't try to lift it and move it in the towel. You're just gonna spill it. This is what it looks like, all bundled up. Leave the oven light on. And did it go off? No, it's still on. And leave it sit for at least a solid 12 hours. Sometimes I like to do it longer, like 15 hours, because it gets a little bit thicker. Okay, so it's the next morning. It is almost 10 o'clock in the morning. I think I put this in here at like 8:30 last night. I think. So it's been about 12 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out and show you what it looks like. Depending on how thick it is, I might end up leaving it in here to thicken a little bit more just for a couple of hours. And then we'll see. Let me pull it out and show you. So this is what it looks like on top. Don't be alarmed when you pull your yogurt out and it's got all these bubbles on top. It always does that. I cannot explain to you why it does that, but it always does. If you want, you can just scrape it off, or you can just mix it in. It's not enough of a texture difference to like really mess it up, but if you just are funky about textures, you might want to pull it off. So this is the thickness of our yogurt right now. It's about exactly what I did last time, but last time I left it for about 3 hours longer. So I'll probably put it back in just for a little bit, see what it does. If I jiggle it, you can see what it's got going on there. It's pretty good, but I'm wondering if I leave it, if it will still thicken up a little bit more. So 9:53, I'm gonna stick it back in there probably until maybe like 1 o'clock, and we'll see what it looks like then. I don't know if it will thicken up anymore or not, but we'll try. And I just want to reiterate that the reason you wrap it in a towel and then put the oven light on is just so it stays slightly warm, because you want it to be warm enough for the bacteria to grow. That's how you're going to ferment your yogurt and make it okay and have all those good probiotics for your gut. So that's why you wrap it in the towel and leave the light on. It might work. If you don't do that, I've never tried it without that, so I can't tell you how that turns out. But for me, when I was learning how to do yogurt and I watched all these videos on it, that was what I was told to do, so that's what I've done. I don't know if it works another way. All I know is that you don't want it to be cold and you don't want it to be drafty. So for me, sticking it in the oven, wrapping it in a towel, and leaving the oven light on overnight has worked perfect. So that's what I would recommend doing. All right, it is 1:20. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and we can see if it is any thicker. Don't forget to remove the towel from your oven. That would be bad. All right, I got a spoon and a bowl. Just gonna kind of scrape off a little bit of this textured part on the top because it's not bad. It's just not my favorite. And right now, being pregnant, textures matter a little bit more than normal. So I'm just gonna scrape this off. do think it probably thickened up more in the extra couple hours that I gave it. All right, and then let me show you. So this is what it looks like now. Let me jiggle it. You can see it's still pretty jiggly, but that is a little bit thicker than it was. And people have asked me when I make yogurt if there's a lot of whey pooling around. As you can see, there isn't. You can see little bits like here and there, but not enough to just pull out. So I just usually mix it in. I don't know what that is. I got something in there. It's probably like on my spoon or something. Anyway, so yeah, this is homemade yogurt. As you can see from the video, the process really is not that complicated. It's just, it takes a long time. But once you figure out how to do it, it's really easy. You can do it without really much thinking about it. And I just store this. I will take this and ladle it into a gallon storage jar, put it in the fridge for a couple hours, and we will be eating this by tonight. And we go through this every week and a half, 2 weeks. We go through an entire gallon of yogurt. So if your family likes yogurt as much as mine, you need to go make yourself some because it's delicious. And like I said, when I was looking to make yogurt the first time, I never found any recipes that were for sweetened yogurt, which is what I wanted. A lot of people say they like unsweetened better because they can use it in place of sour cream and things too, and just sweeten it as they go. But I don't use it in place of sour cream. And we just eat it how it is, and we love it. So I come up with this sweetened yogurt recipe, and I hope that you like it. If you try it and you like it, please come back and leave a comment so that I can know. And yeah, I sure hope you love it. Thanks for following along, and make sure you like and subscribe and share with your friends all of the recipes and things that you think may interest them as well. So have a great day.